Hello, welcome to this little and often training session with myself, Mark Hartwright. Hopefully we can go through bits and pieces to really support you this afternoon, focusing on annotations absolutely anywhere as well. So this was a live session and this is a recorded version of that to really help you kind of guide you through here. And that's literally annotating on anything. How can we take that content that we've already got and by adding some annotations to it, really support that learning and make it more engaging, make it more an active place to be in the classroom rather than just viewing something like that. And as simple as it sounds, essentially what we're going to look at today is how to pick up the pen and actually start writing with it, which sounds silly, but actually how the implementations of that across anything is really useful and really key to really support that learning. And then with the palm of my hand, I'm just going to erase that as well. So that's this session today. Like I said, this was a live session. And if you want to join in a couple of weeks' time, we're going to be doing that as well. I'll put the sign up link below for that as well. So let's jump into it with that pen. How can I pick it up and just start writing anywhere? What it requires is a smart board. And that's the actual hardware itself. It may look like mine, it may look like similar. Essentially, as long as it's got the smart logo on it and you've got the software installed, you'll be able to do that. And that's just picking up that pen and writing on anything, whether that's a web page, whether that's actually just on the background itself, or on PowerPoints, on PDFs, or absolutely anything. It's just picking up that pen and starting writing with it because it knows that the pen is a pen. Equally, because I was jumping between those, it knows that my finger is a finger, so I can move those bits and pieces in there. Equally, if I was doing that on the web page itself, I can move the inking as well, at the same time as actually annotating or rubbing out those bits and pieces for that as well. I can do all of that using that smart ink. So where's that smart ink coming from? And that is a download here as well. So if you just literally Google download smart notebook version 22, with Notebook, you're going to get that whiteboarding piece of software itself, but also you're going to have all the latest drivers and inking toolkits and bits and pieces like that, which will work on your Windows or your Mac PC itself and have that download there. So like I said, it's Smart Notebook, but that comes that software, but it also comes with all the drivers and everything you need for that as well. And then you'll see that you've got these two little floating toolbars that will be able to annotate over the top of anything for that there as well, which is really handy. So if you're looking at this from an IT provider side, you can actually do that as an admin, actually roll that out to your whole staff or on an individual basis. And you can have that at school, at home, PPA rooms, wherever you need to use that software, you can have that as well. But actually to make those smart ink appear, you will need it plugged into a smart board. And then you'll just plug that in with your USB and that will do your touch. And then your HDMI, and that's going to do the sound and visual. So you've got both of those, you've got the software, you're all up and running. All you need to do is to pick up that pen and annotate anywhere on top of that itself, which is great. So when I say annotate on the top of anything, we've looked at it on web pages, and as I'm trying to go on to the next page there, I don't need to. So we looked at on that particular web page here, what actually else can I annotate on? So let's minimize that. I've done that background itself. Let's look at the file management. So it might be that I'm actually uncircling this one here. When you're trying to get the student to actually open that particular file, I can show that one there. I actually add that annotations to that one. It might be that I'm going to do it in any other ones, like it might be a Word document, a PowerPoint, a PDF, or anything like that. Again, pick up the pen and start writing on any of those itself. I will just have a look at PowerPoint. It's slightly different here. The fact that now I'm going full screen. As you'd expect, you can just move through your slides by kind of swiping through those. But actually now I'm in them, I can actually add those annotations to it as well. And then as I move on to the next one, the actual annotations are actually going to stay within that PowerPoint. So as I'm coming backwards and forwards, I can actually see the annotations on the correct page for that there as well. And you'll notice this little toolbar has just popped up at the side here. So if I wanted to change, for example, for a red pen, I can do that. And whatever one, I can do that for there. Let's just actually get that blue one. And I can add those annotations to that. Or if I wanted to add in a blank page, rather than clicking on a pen, I've clicked on page, clicked on add, and now I'm adding that blank page. It's kept my template that I've got already. And now I can add those annotations. It might be some notes, whatever it might be, to that document there. And then when I come to exit it, what the really good thing about that smart ink and having that within PowerPoint is that I had that very static content where you're just watching, but now being able to add those annotations to that, it gives a higher level of engagement for the learners. They can actually see and be kind of, you can talk about what you're doing and actually kinesthetically look at it rather than just viewing it, if you like, there. So there's those bits and pieces, and there's that additional slide here, and I've put those notes inside that as well. So then when I came to save that lesson, all those annotations would be in there, and I can either save that for reviewing next time or kind of the next chapter in their learning, or it might just be then sending it out to other people as well, either as the PowerPoint or, of course, exporting it as a PDF, and those annotations can stay within that document as well. So that's looked at PowerPoint, that's looked at kind of anywhere else as well. I'm just going to go back and jump onto a blank page here. We're going to have a look at a few of these extra little bits and pieces within the Smart Notebook itself. Sorry, not Smart Notebook, Smart Ink. So as I click on this pen here, you can see I've got a few different options. If I want to just change the pen itself, I can just change the color, change the width. Let's have a thin purple one. And I've got those different options to be able to click on that straight from within there. What I've also got is some extra menus down here. So it might be that you're familiar with Smart Notebook and all the rich pens and the great content that they can kind of spark an interest within there. And you can see all those pens are available to in there. So I can use those over the top of anything and have those within that itself here. Great to have those working as well. It might be that I jump into this toolkit. So in that toolbox, let's click at that one. So my screen shade, I can click on it to change the color if I wish to. And then I can actually bring that down to reveal what's behind. And obviously, if I bring the side in, I can reveal that as well. Great for kind of part by part revealing what's behind it. I can still engage with the stuff behind it, but it's just that screen shade, and I can get rid of that as well. So that's a great use of one of those. Or it might be that I've got my toolbar, and in that toolbar, I've got my spotlight. So I can actually spotlight on a bit of information. I can move the blue bit to actually resize it, to actually look at, here's the address bar. That's where you type in where we're going today, if you like. And I can move that around by moving the black and click on that one there. So some really nice bits and pieces within there. And that final one at the top, the other one there was that favorites. So if I wanted to add a favorite of, for example, a tool and added that spotlight as a tool, you can see now it's actually around the side here. And I've got those options where I can quickly go to that spotlight and have that as a quick link on that Smart Ink floating toolbar there. So lots of great bits and pieces within that as well. And like I said, that works over the top of any program. Anything you're already teaching, you can use that on top of those as well. So I'm just going to say, like I said, those should just pop up here as soon as you're plugged in your machine. If they don't, let's just have a look at the settings. It's not the most funnest part of this session today, but I'm just going to click on my start menu and go down to where it says Smart Technologies. And within that, I'm going to then scroll down to where it says Smart Ink Settings. I often find with settings is not the most, like I said, not the most interesting place to go, but actually once you've set it up and you've kind of taken a little bit of time there, it can really save you time in that long run and support that and support you and make your life easier, which is a win-win everywhere. So general settings here, I've just turned them on as soon as my laptop starts up. So I don't need to do that every time. That's really useful for that one there. The toolbar here, so it's always applying. So I haven't got to look for them, haven't got to try and find them. I know that they'll always be present. And then that Smart Microsoft Office one there, I'm just saying that allow that plugin so I can use that Smart Ink. And I want to be able to ink that consistent approach through every document as well. And that one is there as well. And then click OK, and that will just be up and running for all of those bits and pieces there. Super, so that's you kind of using most of the bits of software. We're just going to have a look at two more pieces of software here. This one here is the Smart Notebook. So I can have those pens, I can still annotate on the top of that. What I can actually do is to move my finger as well. So my finger is now that inking, and my pen is that inking there as well. And because it's multiple points of touch, I can have that there. So now I can actually annotate anywhere on that itself. And if I want to erase any of that content whilst inking still, I can, just by using that back of your hand to actually annotate there as well. With that inking now I'm in Notebook, what I can do is actually draw a big circle around the outside and a dot in the middle, and it will vanish that as well. And that's just using that eraser there. So if I'm writing with that one, rub that around the outside, a dot in the middle, and it will erase what's inside that circle. But it knows that each one of those is each one of those because it knows that inking, it knows that a finger is a finger and a pen is a pen. And if I change it back here, I can now be moving that one while still inking with that one as well. If you have got a board with multiple different colors at the bottom, like the 6000S as an example, you'll be able to actually add those, and their pens will be the same, and then you'll still have the additional one for your finger as well. So you've got multiple points of that as well. And if you are looking at that 6000S, you can have a pen pack that attaches to the side. So you've got more pens, and you can have loads of them. I can't remember the exact amount, but it's got 20, 30 points of touch. Let's have 20, 30 pens all writing at the same time. And you can have that real engagement with the learners there as well. So that's within Notebook, adding those annotations to give purpose, to give focus, to add additional thoughts around what you're doing there, keeping them on track, keeping that active role rather than just showing them some of that content there. And then finally, everything we focused on so far is looking at the student inking at the board or the teacher inking at the board to add that knowledge there. What we're going to focus on now and use a piece of software which is part of Smart Learning Suite called Lumio. If you have got Smart Learning Suite subscription, then you're going to have Lumio as well. Or if you have got a Lumio subscription, you're going to have this as well. If you haven't, and if you want to give it a free trial, feel free to do so. You'll have all of the features within it. Just go to Lumio, lum.io, and you'll be able to access that there as well. So in that, I'm going to have my lesson. Again, drag and drop a PowerPoint PDF or a notebook file into here. I can click on it. Let's just move those out of the way for a moment. And here is my document. Now, that was the live session there, so I'm just going to move that out of the way. Essentially, if I want to annotate on it, I just annotate on it there. And then I can erase that content as well with that back of my hand anywhere I want to in there as well. I'm inking on it here. What the real good thing about Lumio is it's not just inking on my display, it's actually inking on my learners' displays as well. I can connect them by going onto those people there. They go to that website on any device, and then they enter in the class code. That's unique to me. And then they can have that inking on their machine. I've set up this page just to show something at the moment. So as I move forward, I can make any annotations, any inking on the objectives, whatever it might be here, and it's going to be displaying on their machines as well. But what's really good with Lumio is I can get to a place where actually I want that whole class participation as well. So with this one, I can click on the people. Let's just go on to another page because, like I said, that was done on the live session. Let's look at the individual one instead then, here. So I can click on the people here. Again, this was just taking a static PowerPoint. And how do I want my learners to ink together or not? Do I want them individually inking on this page, as a group work, or as a whole class? And then as soon as I click on this one here, they will individually be able to ink on this particular page in this Lumio lesson. I'm just going to click on my teacher handout here just to give you an example of what they would see. And they would get these inking tools here. So if they wanted to add a red pen, they wanted different colors, a highlighter, if they wanted to add shapes, lines, or just add in text, then all of that can be done and they can ink on their machine and it will display up on my session here from anywhere. And because this is web-based, it can work anywhere. I'm really great for bringing those learners into the learning with that active learning. That's a lot of learnings in that session, which is always nice. And there's lots of more bits and pieces within Lumio itself, but we're just going to focus on the inking side of it today in that one session there. So to kind of try and sum up all those bits and pieces in one sentence, if you like, or a short bit, is how can you annotate anywhere? And that's just picking up the pen and writing on it. Using these bubbles, the Smart Ink, to be able to annotate on the top of anything. By picking up the pen and writing on it, you're good to go. Make sure you've got that software installed. Download Smart Notebook version 22, and you'll have everything up to date with that one there, and you'll be able to use that. If you want to have a go on that online version, Lumio, lum.io, and you'll have a go with that and see if those there. So that's kind of the sum up for this session here. Annotate on anything, pick up the pen, and start writing on it. We are, like I said, we did this as a live session. Great to have that question and answers and to be able to actually real time and support you there. If you have got any questions that have popped up during the session, pop them in the chat. I'll not get notified by them, and then I'll support you with those answers as they come through. Or, of course, I'll leave my email address in the comments as well, so feel free to put those in there as well. In a couple of weeks' time, if you do want to sign up, and again, I'll put the sign up details below, you can, and we're going to look at how can Smart and Google work together as well, like Google Drive, Google Classroom, and actually using those together, using that Chromebooks. And we're going to have a look a lot more in detail about the use of Chromebooks and Lumio for that as well. So feel free to sign up to that session as well, either at 12:15 or at 20 to 4, whichever session's easier for you there. So thank you very much for your time. Hopefully that's been useful to you. Feel free to look at any of the other videos in the session and add any comments there, and any support I can be, please just ask. But thank you very much. See you again soon. Bye.